Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Hey guys, welcome to Podtendo's year-end review show. So we're reviewing the year that was 2023. I'm going to say that date a couple times throughout the show because I don't usually say the date because I just assume we all know what the date is. But when I go back and listen to these shows later, if you don't say the date, I'm like, wait, what year is this? What's going on? So 2023. And I'm joined by my lovely and talented co-host,
Tyson.
Cool. Welcome. We made it through another year.
Yeah, we survived. Bumpy year.
Yeah.
But, it was all right. We got through it. Looking forward to brighter tomorrow. 2024 should hopefully be cool. I don't know. Lots of stuff kind of coming out, but also like maybe another placeholder year until 2025, where it seems like a lot of stuff is building.
Okay.
And that year might be dynamite.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really look ahead. I just kind of live in the moment. It's good. So I don't know what's happening. I barely remember this last year. I'm not going to look ahead to next year. But again, this year, the year of 2023 year in review show. So what we're going to do is we're going to review kind of some big overstatement summary categories, give you guys something to listen to on the last day of the year or January 1st. You don't have to do it on the 31st just because it came out. You could save it, guys. Maybe you're hungover. You just need to go have a sad walk in the park. Drink a coffee, think about your life. We could be there with you. So, good times. That's what we're there for. Those depressing walk times. And then we will do a little bit quick recap, just if you guys were following along with the show this year. We'll give you kind of a quick, brief synopsis on, like, recommended. You should go back and listen to this show or that show. Because sometimes we're like, oh, no, Final Fantasy VIII, no one ever has to play that game.
Yeah, you can skip that one.
Yeah.
That one's...
Or
you know what? Maybe go back, and then you don't have to play that game, or maybe you just like it as much as we do.
I was gonna do something, and then I changed it. Anyways, okay, we'll figure this out. All right, so we're gonna start out by asking top news story. So, what is the biggest news story of 2023? When you look back in time, what is this year going to be remembered? Could it be the streaming wars? So a lot's been going on. There's mergers, guys are falling out. Netflix was dead earlier in the year, now it's like thriving. The AI takeover, right? This was the year of ChatGTP, and then of course, those lovely wars, the war in the Gaza Strip. So, what is your top news story of 2023?
I think, unfortunately, kind of have to go with like a lot of the hostility, in general in the world. I don't know. It felt like a fairly hostile. Like it's fitting that wars or takeovers were in all these news stories because it's like it wasn't a very calm year, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. I don't really want to think about it.
Oh, so. Okay. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. For myself, that's obviously the big story. Should be on all of our mind. Just kind of that whole situation. And, like, it is very nuanced, I guess we should say that too, right? So, just that blanket statement. There's lots to consume, break down, digest, pick through. So much going on. For myself, though, and I think hopefully with the takeaway, maybe there's a peaceful resolution and things resolve quickly. And then we're just like, oh, yes, those couple months of killing. Hilarious. We could say more appropriate things like the AI takeover, right? The fact that we've seen this publicly sourced ChatGPT take over and start replacing people's jobs really quickly. So I don't know. Kind of, it's fascinating how quickly that's going. We've seen writer strikes, right? That was a big part of the year too of just no movies, no TV shows. Why? Because lots of writers' jobs could be replaced by a computer. And is that a good thing? It's cheaper, but is that also a good thing, right? So a lot of discussions with AI, and I think hopefully they evolve and continue and grow. And this is going to be that first kind of jumping off, sticking out point when AI was released to the public, right? So I know lots of people had lots of fun and just played around with it as a toy. And hopefully, I don't know, I'm more curious to see where that takes us in the future. And with that being said, I'm hoping wars end, and hopefully AI is forever, right? And is like the next step in our evolution.
Yeah, well, I think...
And doesn't start another war. God damn it, Terminator was right. Why aren't you listening?
Yeah. Let's end on it. Let's hopefully its AI can be used to better society for the future.
All I know is every day I now wake up and put on my 1 million sunscreen, so I don't have a bad day.
Yeah. Well, I've been apparently living near zero for forever, and there's no change in my future. So.
All right, cool. All right, so then away from boring news, ew, gross. News is old people's show. I still don't watch the news, so maybe other stuff happened. That's my ignorance. Anyways, top TV, what stuff we do watch. So what is your favorite TV show that came out this year? Let's see. Some of the examples I have were Succession, The Bear, The Last of Us, Black Mirror had a season released, Ahsoka was there for a second, Ted Lasso had its final season. So what was your top TV show of the year?
I mean, I'm a little biased on this one. I kind of
they're all biases. It's your pick.
I know. I like Ahsoka this year.
Okay.
I kind of got into the Clone Wars and Rebel universe, and Dave Filoni's he's doing something. It's interesting. And I like that this was an actual TV show based on that. I think it was a little underwhelming at some points, so it's hard to be like this is the best. It's it's obviously flawed, but I think that this is something to build on, and it gives us hope and things for the future, because maybe Star Wars can be good again.
Okay.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, for myself, I did actually not watch Ahsoka. That was the one I missed. Somewhere along the way, I was following all the Disney Plus shows, but then Fury, what was that one called?
Got overwhelming.
I was like, this is terrible. I don't even know if I finished watching Nick Fury. And if I did, I couldn't tell you what happened. But I was like, when they're good, I'll come back. But I'm going to leave these for a while. Go do some other stuff. I was in on the Succession, so we kind of did the backlog, watched that. It was okay. The Last of Us had some moments. There was some pretty good moments, but I still believe that video games and television or movies are different medium, and I am a video game character, so I am Joel, so me watching Joel is not as satisfying as me being Joel, right? I'm not Mario, or I am Mario. I can't watch Mario have an adventure. I'm Mario. I'll go on the adventure, right? So again, I think that's why The Last of Us is going to fall off. Ted Lasso was kind of lame. Black Mirror didn't stand out. I'm going to say I think The Bear was they're doing really interesting things, pulling back the curtain on the restaurant industry, high stress, high demands, and then they dealt a lot with just kind of the baggage and trauma that families cause, and they had some pretty interesting episodes. If you haven't seen it, there's a holiday episode where everyone's gathered around in their family for a Christmas. It's very stressful. It probably reminds you of you're spending time with your family at Christmas, and you're like, yes, the tension. They do it very well. So Bear, I thought it was pretty good, excellent, top notch. So let's go with that.
Nice. I have a small side note. Is I also have I'm a Virgo. It was on Amazon Prime, and it's this kid's a giant, and it's a really weird world. But visually, it's very interesting. And it does characters have superpowers and weird stuff. I appreciate them trying to use a lot of the practical effects.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so that again, that's just things I've seen. I didn't go to watch everything and review it, because that's not. This is more of a snapshot of my takes on the year, I guess. I again didn't watch everything that's on TV, because there's 30 new shows that come out every week, and I'm I don't have 30 hours to watch all the shows every week, so some stuff gets lost. All right, let's go back to something.
You're lucky if it kind of give some things more than just the. So more than just the pilot. You're gonna get 1 or 2 episodes out of me, and then unless you grab me, I'm probably not continuing.
Yeah, cool. All right. So about top sports stories. So that's a category we've done. Top sports stories. Was it Vegas winning the Cup? Shohei Ohtani's decision to go to the Dodgers. The NBA in-season tournament. That was kind of fun. The Chiefs Super Bowl comeback. Wow. Okay. What is your top sports story of the year?
Well, the Ohtani decision was the most hilarious, because it was kind of a non-decision, because he's I'm going to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
It's okay, he's not even moving.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool that it was maybe Toronto, but that might have just been the internet being ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think as much as it kills me to say this, I think I have to kind of give it to Vegas.
Okay.
To be a expansion franchise, and then to win the cup within what, 4 years now, 4 or 5?
Yeah, it was 2019 was their first year. So
yeah, so like in 4 years to go to win a cup is quite something. And it's like that kind of kills me because I mean they just beat up my entire division. But that's okay. You know, sometimes you have to just be like, hey, they played good, they did a better job, and it's nice to see Marc-Andre Fleury always winning.
I don't think he was there.
Oh, dang. I thought he was on them. Oh, yes. That shows how much I pay attention to the hockey world.
Yeah, he was, and then, I don't know, he like got traded or like he got stabbed by the organization. I don't know, there was something on Twitter where he got stabbed and stabbed in the back by his team. I don't know. Anyways, they also had like a lot of advantages over other expansion teams. Like Seattle's also better than they should be, and it's probably a function of
a bad expansion.
The salary
system.
cap is kind of busted, and if you have players for too long, you kind of can't win because you have to pay your players. But it's what's that called? They want more free players. It's based on slavery, not the free market. You see? Yeah.
Oh, so we're talking with the NCAA.
Nah, it's just less bad in the pro sports. Anyways, for myself, I'm gonna go hockey. We had a bunch of people over. Game 6, I think, first round of the playoffs. My favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, were playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. They won in overtime. It was pretty exciting. We had bunch of people. There was like 10 of us crammed in my backyard watching on my TV. It was overtime. We got up yelling, screaming. It was good times. That was just my favorite kind of moment, one of my favorite moments of the year. And it tied in specifically to like sporting events. So saw some of my buddies I haven't seen for a couple of years too, right, with just the whole pandemic. So I thought that was very satisfying, and that'd be my top sports story of the year. So good times.
Sweet.
They lost the next round, and I wasn't miserable. I bought a new phone based on my gambling winnings, so good times. Top movies. There we go. Back to a category that we could really sink our teeth into. You know, boring sports and news. Boo. How dare they talk about us? Top movie of the year. So this is new movie that came out this year. Because if it was my top movie of the year, obviously that would be the movie I saw for the first time this year, which was Lost Boys. And I've seen it like 6 times because I love Lost Boys. The first weekend I saw it was a Friday night. Watched it. And I was like, man, that's good. And I thought about it the next day. Then I watched it again. And then my wife came home from work Saturday night and I said, man, we should watch this Lost Boys movie. It's pretty good. And afterwards, I told her I had watched it for the 3rd time in like 24 hours. She was slightly concerned. And I also have watched it. Sometimes she's just come home and I'm watching it on a Friday night. And I'm like, I just needed the comfort movies. So clearly my favorite movie of the year, maybe ever, is Lost Boys. So I saw that for the first time. But this is not the category. The category is best movie that came out this year. Silly Billy. You can't just say Lost Boys for everything. So could they be something like Oppenheimer, the Barbie movie, maybe like a comic book movie like Aquaman 2 do anything for you, Ant-Man 3, Guardians 3, Spider-Man Across the Universe, or the Spider-Verse, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Five Nights at Freddy's was there. I watched it. Pretty good practical effects. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Amongst Thieves, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mayhem, or even Godzilla -1. I don't know. Any of those movies? What was your favorite top best movie of 2023?
I kind of really struggled with this one.
Okay.
Because I didn't really actually like too much that came out, and things that I liked, I wasn't like, wow, that was an amazing picture. That was monumental or something. It was like, it was good.
Okay.
Enjoyed it. I don't know. I guess like if I'm gonna just have to pick one, I guess I'm gonna pick the Barbie movie because it was interesting. I watched it with Mom and Dad, and it was interesting to get Mom's take on this movie because she actually had the very first Barbie. So a lot of like the little references of like things that she has or whatever, Mom was really connecting to.
Okay.
So that was kind of like very cool. Yeah, it was fine. It was a little cute comedy. I can see why a lot of people liked it. It wasn't spectacular, amazing, shattered the universe for me, but again, I'm not that person that was that like this movie's for. But I had a good time with it. It was entertaining. Visually, I wish it was just a little bit more spectacular or something. But it was just like it's a doll movie. It's a doll movie. Like,
no,
it has to
but
be
there was
flat
something. Yeah, there
I
was
know.
something visually about that movie that was off. I think it was the consistency,
It
right?
reminded
Where,
me of the Cat in the Hat movie. It had that
yeah,
level of quality. I was like, you almost need like to double the budget. Like
yeah.
it's almost like I love like the set designers go an interesting place, but they don't take it up a notch. Or
It never felt real or lived in. So even like the tall tower when they get to Mattel or whatever, like the corporate offices, it seemed like it was like I was kind of expecting Emperor Palpatine to be in that space and like fly by the window. Like it seemed like it was a very like fake office that they were in. I could tell it was a set. So they were missing something. They were missing something that, and maybe they were doing more of a surreal environment. That's what they were going for. But that was, again, I liked Barbie. I love Barbie, but it was visually a little jarring in terms of set designs. And they like, you could see where they used CG, and like the CG wasn't very good.
Yeah, and
Right.
it just like didn't visually pop.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like what's the most memorable scene in the movie? There's like there's no like real great standout visual poppy moments or something that like it was a spectacle to kind of see.
Mm-hmm. But no, it was
just kind of it was a good little cute story.
Perfect. Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're like, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so.
it was fine. It wasn't offensive. So for myself, I was like, before I watched anything, I probably would have been like, oh, I love Oppenheimer, and then probably Barbie, and then I was thinking like Mission Impossible, right? Those are kind of like in my wheelhouse. In terms of the movies that I did see, I think I've seen everything on this list. They were not terrible. Everything kind of exceeded my expectations, right? Even from like the new Godzilla movie, I ended up seeing it in Japanese, so I couldn't tell you exactly what the plot was at the time of watching it, but that was more of a language barrier on my part. The Teenage Mayhem. Tyson was telling me it was like the worst thing ever. It was fine. It was a different take on the turtles. So I was like, cool. They did something different with them. Neat. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute. Like visually, I was like, that was one of those movies. I was like, oh yeah, it stands out a lot. Mission Impossible was okay. It was missing something. I don't know. The practical effects, like they had some cool set pieces, but everything, I don't know. Didn't really feel like it was there. They were missing something. I don't know.
Yeah,
and that's usually the part of the Mission Impossible movies. What's the best part? Well, it's because the stunts are so amazing. The stunts were a little lackluster at points.
That can only get you so far. And that's my biggest quarrel with Mission Impossible franchise is like name two characters.
Ethan Hunt and I mean, really, it's just a Tom Cruise vehicle. Other films like.
You need memorable characters. You can't have like 9 of these movies and be like, name 2 characters. And people are like, Ethan Hunt and...
Benny.
Steve.
No, Benny.
I'm sure there's a Steve in there too.
His friend's Benny. That's
Who's Benny?
Simon Pegg's character.
Simon Pegg's character. Okay.
So I named 2. There you
go. You know what? You beat 95% of the internet because... It's like I play that game. Just randomly ask somebody, "Hey,
but like you really
Mission
like
Impossible characters."
You're like James Bond movies. Tell me
someone. You can ask 10 people, and I bet you like name James Bond.
Yeah, it's because there was like
and they would be like
25 movies, and
it's also like because it's
one
simple.
of your characters'
like
name is M.
Q.
Yeah, well,
and Q.
But like, what do they do?
2 gimmies.
Oh, Q.
Well, one's the boss, one's the tech guy.
Yeah, but they don't have. Okay, all right, cool. But we should pick on.
Anyways,
let's be hypocritical of spy movies and say they're not good, and then get defensive.
Hey,
that sounds like
no. I'm making a legitimate criticism of you need characters, and that is something bereft across the board of all these movies that came out this year. Was I feel like a lot of AI writing has been implemented in these movies, and I feel like AI doesn't understand how characters develop. So there's not a lot of memorable characters across all these movies. Where like I watched a good chunk of these movies too, but I didn't like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I don't really connect with any of the characters.
It's because you're a 30-year-old man.
Yeah, it's I know, but still
6-year-olds.
Yeah, while starring. But I mean, there should be some cool characters that you're like, I like this, but it's yeah. Anyway, it's also structurally flawed. Whereas like, essentially the characters, they just like they hang up with the villains like one time, and they're like, no, we're gonna completely flip.
It's a 90-minute movie for children.
I understand that, but again, it's like it's hard to develop characters and have like cool character interactions where people can, relate to one another, and you can learn something about them and grow, or like, and I feel like I didn't have that.
Yeah, probably because you came in with your baggage, and you're like, well, no. Rogue has to be a Superman and fly, and she has to wear a suit, or I can't like Anna Paquin ever. Okay. All right. Cool.
Sure. But I mean, like, even Dungeons and Dragons this year, like, it was fine. I'm not saying these movies are bad. That's not my point. What I'm saying is I just felt like these movies weren't 9s or 10s this year because they lacked interesting characters. That's something that was just missing across everything. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy ended this year.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's like, because the characters stopped being interesting after the second one. They wrapped up their story in the other movies. So this was kind of just like a
necessary. It was actually. I would say Guardians 3 was the most character driven, and you discovered that it was, and it has been all along, Rocket's story, and not like it's not a Quill story. It's always been a Rocket story the whole time, right? And you kind of had to go through and learn about his past and his kind of past traumas, right? Which kind of helped him become who he was.
Yeah, I guess that is right. Rocket does have a good, strong story in that, but everybody else in that story didn't.
No, it's because they're not the main character, though.
Oh, fair enough. Like
sometimes Casey Jones just stands by the garbage truck at the end of the Turtles movie and pulls the lever, and that's all he does. And you're like, but like, so he just murdered a guy?
Because he doesn't hang out with the Turtles at all. He doesn't interact with them and learn.
But like the 1990s,
what their jokes
are. The 1990s
and
Turtles movie, Casey Jones just stand there and just pulls the lever, and he's like, I killed Shredder. There you go. I learned how to be a ninja.
No, like, because the farm didn't happen. Nobody spent any time getting to know each other in quiet moments and quietly reflecting.
That's right. We'll just murder a guy. That's cool.
What a character means to one another. Yeah, because it's not like he didn't just that guy. Yeah, they murdered somebody who was just literally trying to kill them, and plunged an entire city into chaos. Yeah, no, that's fine. He just flipped the lever. Yeah, no, you're right. That's a fair take on that character.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, since Tyson sidetracked this conversation, I guess.
I was just trying to make a fair criticism.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Tyson's character writing workshops are available whenever you guys are interested.
Top video games this year.
Okay, cool. What was my top movie?
I don't know, Mick.
Yeah.
You just
you started
didn't pick one.
You started complaining about Mission Impossible characters.
Okay.
All right.
Well, anyways.
All right. Sweet.
What's your favorite movie this year?
Has My Will to Live been killed? Maybe. Barbie was fine. Oppenheimer. There was a lot of characters in Oppenheimer. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that was a good story. No, my top movie of the year. I assumed it would have been Oppenheimer. It seemed kind of my wheelhouse. I like Christopher Nolan's movies. He's usually a pretty good storyteller. It was pretty good. However, upon rewatching all of these films, the first time I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I didn't love it. I was like, what a weak entry. It might have been the theater I was going to. There was lots of kids running around. Normally I go to not adult theaters, but the VIP experience, so it's usually 18 plus, so kind of adult. There was like a drone flying around in the theater the first time I saw it. Chairs weren't comfortable. It was just a mess. But going back and watching it upon, what an amazing, beautiful story that they've created with this Spider-Man, whatever you want to call it, Spider-Verse kind of universe. Miles Morales, very cool, interesting character. Same as Spider-Gwen. And sitting there somewhere in the middle, realizing that they've taken the property of Spider-Man, one of the most popular superheroes in the world, right? Maybe comparable to Batman. Spider-Man's probably right there for top guys. Kids you see wearing all over, like everywhere. There's a Spider-Man backpack, right? You walk by a school, everyone loves Spider-Man. He's great. The fact that they've now changed it, and it's not just a man, it's not just the white platonic man, but they've actually kind of seamlessly introduced the black Spider-Man and the girl Spider-Man, and they're not just known as, oh, that's the black Spider-Man, he's just the black guy that stands there. Miles Morales is cool. He has his own agency, he has his own agenda, he has his own autonomy, right? Across every Spider-Man, he's kind of completely unique and has kind of a complete new set of powers. And yeah, I think that movie, underrated. I know people loved it and people talked about it, but I don't know, like that might have been the best movie of the year just for what they do. And I mean, if you want to talk about just like a diversity of cast, right? Like we have a person of color, we have a female as kind of the leads of this movie. And I think that's pretty cool and pretty incredible. And the fact that they gave them a really cool vehicle to drive in too, right? Like it's not just the ham-fisted. We're like, oh yeah, I guess they're just here. I think it's a really cool story, really unique, and that was the one that surprised me. It shot up. I was thinking that would probably been like third or fourth for myself, but upon further rewatching, it's definitely my movie of the year. And I think, yeah, if you're an animation fan, they blend all those things from like the visual storytelling right down to the mix it in with all of the emotional beats of the film, right? And the music blends well. It's a mastercraft in cinema, and that one was top notch.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. Top video games of the year. So we saw a release. This is one of my weakest categories, to be perfectly honest with you. Like Tears of the Kingdom came out this year. Baldur's Gate 3, Mario Wonder, Diablo 4, Starfield, Pikmin 4, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 saw a release, and then Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So those are kind of the big games that came out this year. I've played 2 of them. So when I say I'm not the expert in top video game category, that's why.
Oh, that's fair. There's also Dead Space, Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 16.
Yep. Okay.
So Assassin's Creed Mirage. I mean, I am like a crazy year with stuff, but I mean, getting like a new Street Fighter game is always kind of cool. Getting a new mainline Final Fantasy games pretty cool. Getting new Diablo games pretty cool. Baldur's Gate is getting lots of love online. New Pikmin game. Another one of the RE Resident Evil games getting remade. Spider-Man 2's getting like its whole thing. Jedi Survivor is doing it. Seems to be just the year of sequels. And of course, Tears of the Kingdom. But
which is a sequel.
Which is a sequel. Yeah. And Alan Wake 2, which is a sequel. Yeah. So it was felt a lot of rehashes. So it's hard to kind of find something along like Assassin's Creed Mirage, a sequel. It's hard to pick something kind of out there to be like what really stands out to me. I had my favorite time was with Tears of the Kingdom. I played a couple of the other ones like Survivor and Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate, and like the Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of fun here, but nothing really was like amazing and goes into the Legendary Hall of Fame or whatever. But my favorite game of the year, I think, is just Tears of the Kingdom, plain and simple. So,
I mean, really of new games that I've played this year, yeah, I'm like, did Hogwarts Legacy come out this year?
Yep.
I think it was.
That's the other one I was like, I keep forgetting that also came out this year.
Yeah, like I just bought that. I haven't got around to playing it yet. Like I think God of War 2, God of War Ragnarok might have also been this year's release, but maybe that was from last year. Again, I don't know.
I think that was last year. I think that one game of the year last year, okay. Maybe. I don't know. So
I haven't got to those yet. I think literally the only 2 new ones are Mario Wonder. Very disappointing entry into the Mario series. They didn't do much. I don't know why. I don't think they included enough in the game to make it a full release, but that's for a different show. My game of the year, Tears of the Kingdom by process of elimination. What a wonderful experience. So Breath of the Wild was an open world Zelda. They tried to break the formula a little bit, and I really feel like they did a good job of refining everything in this game. So just the simple, like the overworld's obviously the same. Oh wow, you can go into the sky. Wow, there's the depths. Yeah, it's a lot bigger. For sure. But it's more of kind of the day-to-day gameplay. The dungeons felt just a little bit more clean. They felt a little bit more well-designed. They felt had a little bit more flow to them. They weren't the struggles that the Breath of the Wild kind of had, right? And the shrines. Oh, man. The worst part of playing Breath of the Wild is those damn shrines. You walk in there, there's like crazy puzzles that you don't, like, lots of times the solutions, I'm like, okay, so I have to smack this ball 4 times, and then while it's flying across the room, after it unfreezes, I have to put a bomb here or something. It never seemed like it made sense. Tears of the Kingdom, man, that's a streamlined process. Every single temple is a delight. they do just like the zaniest things. You have to build crazy contraptions and solve all these funny little puzzles. You have to build like plinko machines and pinball machines, and you just have a lot of fun with kind of all the designs. And they really honed their craft when it came to kind of the puzzle solving of Zelda. And I think that's really what Breath of the Wild was missing, whereas Tears of the Kingdom really brings back that stronger puzzle building side, as long as with some new mechanics. But for the most part, it's just a stronger puzzle version. I haven't beat it, but I meant just prepping to beat Ganon. So in theory, when you're listening to this, I have beat the game. Will we do a Tears of the Kingdom Chronicle Part 4 or 3, wherever we're at? Maybe? But
maybe
probably have to beat the game first. So
yeah, I'll probably wrap it up and then see what the end game kind of looks like. I also loved that they were like, know what Zelda needs? Skateboarding. So you can just like attach a little like roller wheels onto a shield and go like.
Oh, I didn't even talk about the crafting.
Like, that is the coolest like little thing. It's like, what an amazing thing. I just spent hours just like skateboarding down mountains. I was like,
oh yeah, it is just kind of
this game just like,
yeah.
They really just try to ramp up, like, just have fun with it. Like,
well, they
like
added the Fortnite Minecrafty parts to this game, right? And there's a generation of kids that have grown up on that, right? Like how many kids do you think nowadays? So kids you want to call, say 6 to 12-year-olds, grew up primarily playing Minecraft, right? Like they're probably playing Minecraft on their parents' iPads before they could walk almost, right? So they've had this they have this reps. They understand how to build, how to create, how to construct with these and like I don't have that abilities, and I think we talked about that in the Tears of the Kingdom podcast. But it's kind of fun getting to play catch up now, right? Being the old guy coming into the video game world and being like, oh, this is what we do nowadays. We like build and we're crafting. Cool.
And I never really thought I'd mention this, but I'm going to mention it. So Fortnite did a really cool crossover event where they crossed over with like Lego.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, but it wasn't just like, oh, hey, Lego, but Fortnite. It was kind of like this own like build and explore kind of farm simulator thing. But it's Lego.
Okay. Cool.
So I know a lot of people were playing that this year and just absolutely having a great time with it. So it's kind of cool that like there's this whole other subgenre of just like build a like 3D builder adventure platformer game that's just kind of birthed into existence with this, just because these game mechanics are kind of becoming more and more prevalent, and it's really fitting for Zelda or Tears of the Kingdom to add that to this game. And I like it's very like it's almost like they couldn't have, releasing this in 2024 wouldn't have been made as much sense. It's kind of like there's this like now tipping point towards that mechanic is just like in everything. So it's very cool that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom nailed it, and I think that is a good stepping away point, because apparently they're not going to continue this storyline now. They're going to go do something else, or this team's going to go do something else.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Kind of like they just did it. You can't get much bigger than what they've done, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, back to the drawing board, figure something else out. Cool. All right. So then that wraps up the year that was, on probably not the most awkward way possible. It could have made it more awkward, but had some rocky parts there in the middle. Favorite shows. Now we're just going to talk about our podcast. Let's see. So we talked about what our favorite show was. We also watched all the X-Men movies. I didn't think we had to talk about that. And we watched all the X-Men movies and the 2 Mario Brothers movies.
Yes.
I don't know if I need to tell you what my favorite was, because
I think we all know what it was. It was may have starred 3 amazing actors that lifted my movie-going experience this year, because it's like, of all them, I can appreciate this.
Like, if you were to watch a movie, though, what would I recommend? Would I recommend?
Oh, I know what I'm recommending any day.
Days of Future Past or Logan? Of all the movies we watched this year, like I probably would go, either Days of Future Past, like to watch one right now. I like Days of Future Past, and then Logan. Logan is good. Yeah.
I say it depends. You want a comedy, you watch Super Mario Brothers. You want you want like an actual like prestige picture, watch Logan. If you want something that's like a solid superhero movie that's like underrated, definitely go Days of Future Past. Like Yeah, there's a lot of good things, and they can fit into different like puzzle pieces. So, which pick what are you feeling? And I got a movie for you. So,
Okay, cool.
Because let's not sleep on how much we came to really enjoy that Mario Brothers movie. So
Yeah, sweet. All right. So then, so that was half our shows. We didn't really do like a big overarching thing. So I figured we'd include that. But our top show. So we have to talk about all the games, look at all the games that we talked about this year, and go from there. So favorite show of the year. So was it 007, the character-driven story of The World Is Not Enough? Was it Golden Sun, The Lost Age, that we stopped playing after an hour? Probably not that one. Pokemon, Diamond and Pearl, that we played instead of Golden Sun. Killer Instinct, maybe for the Super Nintendo. Link's Awakening HD. Mega Man's 4 through 6. We played Banjo-Kazooie. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. With Disney SNES Trio, so that was Aladdin, Jungle Book, and Lion King. We had Turok for the N64, Alien 3 for the Sega, maybe Super Nintendo, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and then finally we played Mario RPG Remake. So not a lot of stuff there. You know, you get to the end of the year and you look at all the work that you've done and you're like, oh boy, did I not accomplish a lot this year.
No, this was a year of cleanup again.
Cleanup? What are we cleaning up?
Well, we wanted to play Golden Sun to kind of like do the second one. We wanted to do World's Not Enough because that's another James Bond game, which is like, that's just a tick. We're ticking a box there.
Okay.
Killer Instinct was another tick of the box.
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie was another tick of the box. Tony Hawk, same thing. Turok was a surprise, and then Aliens was just like a theme thing. So before we knew it, we kind of like did a bit of cleanup, and the year was over. But we also did make a mistake in the games of the year. We didn't mention Mario RPG came out this year.
Oh yeah,
and that's another good game that came out this year. But yeah, I don't know. I think we may have not accomplished a lot, but I think we made some pretty good memories. I think we were both not like, if we're gonna pick a top 3.
That's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a win-place show. So you got to pick your favorite game, like a bronze, a silver, and a gold game. So what are your win-place show games? So you got to rank them. I don't know. I wrote something down. I still couldn't tell you what my top 3, because it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, things were okay, but again, I was like, oh, that was like the landmark. I think I specifically made next year. So if you're following along with us, dude, next year we're playing a lot of good games. So we're doing like lots of the bangers. We were like saving them, and I was like, what are we saving these for? Let's just get them out of the way and then see where this takes us. So win, place, show. Is that what I'm going to go with?
Yeah. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So my bronze medal, I think, is kind of cheating, because I guess it's kind of a tie, because it is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Okay. Yep.
I played the heck out of this game, and the remake is so satisfying. It's nice that both games are included. There's lots of just creature comforts. It's enjoyable, and if you want to cheat, just throw on some cheats and just bang out all like 95% of this game.
Sure.
It is awesome. As for my silver medal, I think this one might even surprise me, because I didn't think going into this year, seeing this list of the games, this would be my silver medal. But I'm going to give it to Turok.
Okay.
It's kind of an underrated game. I was really debating giving it to Link's Awakening, but I kind of got to give some love to Turok. I feel like I had a weird experience where I was talking to a bunch of people like at work, and just like a couple of my friends, and everybody that I said I was playing Turok to was like, man, that game's so good. And it was like they were programmed into their brain or something. And they all said the same thing. It was like weird. I've never had this experience. This game is so good. It's like, it's definitely flawed and stupid and busted, but throw on some invincibility, fly through that game, and play through it from start to finish. I've never done that. I've always just skipped it right to the end. This is the first time I've actually done it. I've played through Link's Awakening multiple times, although Link's Awakening is amazing. It's a fantastic game.
Cool. You're right. Turok should have been the big game of the year. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of almost what I want it to be, is that game. How much did I play that as a child? Right.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that it didn't like come back to me. So, fascinating. I'm glad you. Yeah, you're right. Turok better than I thought. I have actually, you know what? I have the podcast saved in like when there's no other new shows. Here's something to. It's in my backlog of podcasts. So I was going to try and get back to and listen to that show this year, and I wonder if I would have changed my opinion. But no, you brought some good points. And then, sorry, what was your win?
My gold medal is Mario RPG. Cool. I've always wanted to own this game. This is a game I've always wanted on my shelf. Played through it like when we originally played through it, but the cartridges have just been super expensive. So getting a fresh remake with it is beautiful in HD, and I don't need like a CRT converter or some crazy thing, or it's going to look fuzzy or something. It's like, no, it's just pretty, good timing, quick adventure. I think that this is a wonderful game, and I'm happy I get to add it to my collection. So
sweet. Yeah,
that's my gold medal.
Nice. For myself, show, I'm going to do, let's just stick with what I wrote down. Sure, why not? Mega Man 6. Train Man. He's the best character ever in a video game, so I have to give some love. And I also just kind of like the Mega Man games. So I think we're playing like the X series next year. So curious to see how that holds up. That kind of follows through. Link's Awakening gets my place. I realize that's a boring answer, but I feel like lots of these games were boring. In fact, lots of these games were just remakes of previous games. As much like sequels came out in real life, I feel like we played lots of just sequels on here. So, cool.
Yeah. When you look at it like that, it's
like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, where we played like the HD remakes. But The Lost Age was a sequel. World Is Not Enough, sequel to GoldenEye. Killer Instinct, I guess, was an original IP. Mega Man's literally 3 of his sequels. Banjo-Kazooie, I guess, was like a new one.
Yeah, like, Link's Awakening,
Tony Hawk
a remake.
2. Yeah,
it's a remake.
Like Superstar Saga was actually I played the HD or like the new remake of that game. So you're like, okay, right. So Link's Awakening though, it's good. Holds up. It's one of those games I played, like one of the very first games I played on the handheld, right when we got our Game Boy, whenever that was. So playing it in a nice cleaned up version. It's cute. It's adorable. It's good times. And then Mario RPG is also my win of the year because, it just kind of holds up. It's a nice, clean experience. Could be a little bit more difficult, right? I thought it was just kind of a little bit on the easy side. That's really my only gripe. And when that's my only gripe, that's not the worst thing in the world. So it's nice, clean. Yeah. Look at those old games. Look at that. RPG, Mario RPG, Link's Awakening, Mega Man 6. Good job, team.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's like your list is probably the more accurate one because let's face it, Train Man does deserve to get a bronze medal here. Because when you're listening to this, listener, just Google Train Man. Do
yourself a favor. Play Mega Man 6 and experience the glory of Train Man for yourself.
Yeah, it's another one of those surprises this year because.
Sweet.
There's lots of good. I mean, you're right, but there's nothing that's like this is truly like a real standout thing. But I think next year we have a lot of fun things scheduled. I'm looking at this, like, man, I think if we take even a handful of the games next year and we sprinkle them in this year, and they might be on the top of this list.
Oh, we are. It's going to be more complicated like next year. This year, we just didn't play that many good games. So that's how that works. Cool. So with that wraps up our year in review. Something to remember. Wow, so exciting. Did we miss anything? We probably said James Bond. I think we hit all our categories. What James Bond movie are we watching in the new year?
I really want to do. I was debating between 1 or 2.
Okay.
But we had you talked about how Lost Boys is kind of your comfort movie, and you would just put Lost Boys as your movie.
Yep.
My movie that I could just watch for forever and always is Skyfall.
Okay.
I just love that. I understand the plot makes no sense and it's stupid. I don't care. Okay. So I'm like, no, we're gonna watch some Skyfall.
Cool. So
I know it's not like ordered anyway, but I'm like, Skyfall.
All right, solid. So Skyfall is the James Bond movie we're watching in January. You might be getting a game show first, like a numbered show. Not entirely sure. We have a handheld James Bond game we're going to be looking at, or Skyfall. So good stuff. So we'll be seeing you guys in the New Year's.
Yes. See you then, and have a happy New Year.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Bye.